Hello, welcome to this tutorial on preparing your budget. All the information contained within this tutorial can be found online along with other information on our web pages. So let's get started. You need accurate information about all of your income and expenditure. If your income and expenditure are managed through your bank account, most of the information you need will be available from your bank statements. Why do a budget? Working out how much money you owe can be a daunting prospect. This guide is to help you complete your full budget and obtain an accurate picture of your financial situation. If you have debt repayments that you are struggling to make, then this guide will help you work out how much money you have left after you have paid your essential and fixed costs. We will talk later on about what to do if you have debts that you cannot afford to pay. Don't rush when completing your budget. It is important to take the necessary time filling it in, as it is a useful tool that will help you deal with your debts. Your budget needs to be accurate, so please ensure you check you are using the correct figures when detailing both your income and your expenditure. Your budget form asks you for monthly figures. This is because your creditors will want to see how much you can afford to offer them monthly. Creditors means a company or person you owe money to. If any part of your income or outgoings are not paid monthly, you will need to work out the monthly amounts. This will help you to create an accurate budget that will be easier to stick to. Here you can see how to change weekly, fortnightly and 4-weekly payments to monthly. If you are living with a partner and are dealing with your debts together, we suggest you fill in your budget together. You need to include all of the income and outgoings for you and your partner. You need to include your sole debts and any joint debts and your partner's debts. If you don't live with a partner but you share a household with other people, you only include your income and your share of the household expenses, and only include your debts. Please contact us for advice if you are unsure who you should include in your budget, or if you are living with a partner and are not dealing with your debts together. Make sure you include all of your income and your partner's if you are doing a joint budget. If you or your partner are having money deducted from your wages or benefits to pay a debt such as council tax arrears, please record this in the debt section of your budget, recording how much is being deducted each month from your wages or benefits. Do not use this budget if you or your partner, if you're doing a budget together, have any income from being self-employed. You need to fill in a budget that works out what your business can afford after you have set aside your tax and national insurance contributions. Business Debtline has a range of business budgets that can help you. If you have income that is not a regular amount, it is important to work out your average monthly income. This will help you create a budget that you can keep to each month. You may get some payments once or twice a year, or you might be a seasonal worker and earn more in some months than in others. You might be on a 0 hours contract, or your income might change on a weekly or monthly basis. If you have regular expected changes to your income, i.e. you know when and how much you will get paid, you can work out your average monthly income over the last 12 months. To do this, firstly, add up all of the income you have received over the last 12 months. Then, divide the total by 12. This is your average monthly income. If you are on a 0 hours contract, or your take-home pay changes a lot, meaning you don't know when or how much you will get paid, you will usually need to work out your average monthly income more often. Completing this part of your budget shows you how much money you spend on your essential living costs. Do not include payments towards any arrears in your outgoings, as you will be asked about these at the end of your budget. Arrears is the term used to describe payments that you have missed. Arrears can also include interest and charges that have been added. It is important to be as accurate as possible so that you know how much you need for your living costs. This also affects how much you have left to pay toward your debts. Your budget splits your monthly outgoings into two groups: fixed costs and flexible costs. Most of your fixed costs will be based upon your household bills such as TV license and rent. The flexible costs generally cover outgoings that may vary each month, like food and housekeeping costs. Your creditors are more likely to agree to a payment arrangement if they think your flexible costs are reasonable for your household. How much you spend will be different to other people, and your costs should be based on your household's needs. For example, your food and housekeeping costs may have increased recently due to having older children at home. Here are some guideline figures for reasonable spending on food and housekeeping. If your food and housekeeping costs are significantly higher or lower than the figures shown based on the makeup of your household, then your creditors will likely ask you why. If you have additional costs arising from a special diet, a disability or illness, then you will need to explain this to your creditors. Savings. Your budget asks you to list costs of things you have to pay for every now and then, like repairs or gifts. You need to work out an average monthly figure to allow for these costs. This will make it easier for you to stick to your budget. You can also include an amount for savings in your budget, and it's important to do this if you can. Saving even a small amount each month helps you to deal with unexpected expenses such as a broken washing machine or a lost mobile phone. Creditors will usually think it is a reasonable expense to make savings each month, and as a general rule will accept a monthly saving of up to 10% of the money left over after you have paid your essential living costs, up to a maximum of £20 each month. So, for example, if you have £250 a month left over after paying all of your essential living costs, you can save £20 a month in your budget. To work out how much you can afford to save, you divide the disposable income figure of your budget by 10. If the amount you get after dividing the disposable income figure by 10 is £20 or less, you can allocate all or part of that amount as savings. If the amount is more than £20, you can add up to 20 of that as savings. Before you list your debts on your budget, make sure you know exactly what you are liable for and how much money you owe. This can make a big difference to how you deal with your debts and how long it takes to pay them back. Is it your debt? Only pay towards debts that you are personally liable for. Paying money to other people's debts usually makes your situation harder to deal with. If you are not sure who is liable for a debt, such as a credit card, loan, or bank account, check whether you are named on the agreement for credit. If you are making payments towards another person's debts and are concerned about the impact of stopping these payments on that person, contact us for advice. It is important to check that the amount you are being asked to pay is correct. Make sure that all payments you have made have been included in your statement. Do you have joint debt with another person? If you have taken out an agreement for credit with another person, you are usually both responsible or jointly liable for the full amount owing, not part of it. This is called joint and several liability. So, if you take out a loan with a partner, the lender can ask you or your partner to repay the whole debt. Some creditors ask borrowers for a guarantor before agreeing to lend money or provide a service. If the person who borrows the money or used the service doesn't pay, the creditor can ask the guarantor to pay. Priority creditors have greater powers to get you to pay what you owe them. Because of this, priority debts are more important than other debts. Common priority debts include rent, mortgage, council tax, fuel debts, TV license, secured loan or second mortgage, magistrates' court fines, tax debts, child maintenance, hire purchase or conditional sale, for example, a car on hire purchase, tax credit and benefit overpayments, penalty charge notices for parking, and bill of sale and logbook loans. Some non-priority debts may feel more important to you to deal with than your priority debts. You need to sort your debts based on the powers that are available to your creditors to get money back from you. Common non-priority debts include credit cards, store cards, unsecured loans, overdrafts, catalogue debts, payday loans, personal debt to family and friends, doorstep collected loans, water debts, private parking tickets, business supplier debts, if you have stopped trading, and mortgage shortfall debts, which is money owed after sale of a property. Here are some tips for sticking to your budget. Plan for when your income drops. If your take-home pay goes up and down, try to plan for when this happens. Your budget will help you achieve this. Make a note of your average monthly income. When you earn more than this amount, put any extra money aside. This will help build up enough money to help you pay your essential costs when your income drops. You may find it helpful to have a separate account to transfer any extra money into. You can put your savings and money for one-off payments in a separate account to your normal bills. This will help you keep it apart from your usual main bank account and prevent the extra money being spent on your day-to-day expenses. If your circumstances change and your income increases or decreases, it is essential to update your budget so that you have an accurate idea of your financial situation and can continue to budget effectively to meet all of your costs. We advise you review your budget at least every 6 months, but earlier if your income fluctuates or your circumstances change. If you owe any money to a bank or building society and do not pay them what you owe, they can take money from an account you have with them to pay the debt. This includes savings accounts. It is known as the right of set-off. To avoid this situation, you can save money with a bank or building society that you do not owe money to. Once you have completed your budget, deduct the total essential expenditure figure from the total household income figure. This will tell you how much money you have left over for your creditors, often referred to as disposable or surplus income. If the amount is enough to afford to pay your monthly debt repayments, but you are struggling to pay them, speak to us before you take any further action. If the amount is less than you need to pay all of the monthly debt repayments, we can discuss what options you have for dealing with your debts at a debt advice appointment. If you have less money than you need to pay your debt repayments, cancel any scheduled payments to your non-priority debts. If you pay any of your non-priority debts by standing order or direct debit, you should cancel these. This will help you to stay up to date with more important bills such as your mortgage or rent, council tax, food and energy bills. If you remain unsure about what bills to cancel, then please contact us in the Welfare Service. Please note that reduced or missed payments to your creditors will usually affect your credit reference file. Don't rush when completing your budget. Give yourself time to prepare and complete it accurately. Use monthly figures. Decide on whether you're doing a sole or joint budget if you live with a partner. Work out your total monthly income. Work out your total monthly outgoings. If you have debts, work out what you owe by checking statements, and if they are historic debts, look at your credit reference file if needed. Sort out your priority and non-priority debts. Once you have completed your full budget, if you do not have enough money to meet your debt repayments after paying your fixed costs, then seek debt advice. The RCN Welfare Service can provide you with advice about ways to deal with your debts. To make an appointment, please contact RCN Direct on 0345 772 6100. Please note, your appointment may be deferred or cancelled if you have not completed the online budget form.